So the next round of stimulus payments has been confirmed. We are now learning from many members of Congress. We're hearing from the White House and even from the initial creator of the Doge dividend refund, James Fishback. He actually confirmed himself that yes, his team is working with Congress to get this through to President Trump's desk. Now, I'm going to break down what this means, who is going to get it. A little bit of a spoiler here. People on Social Security and veterans will get this dividend. So I'm going to break all this down in just a moment, explain what is going on, what they are now saying, and giving you a timeline of when these checks could be coming. So make sure you stick around and watch this entire video, and I'll explain exactly what is going on. But all I ask is one thing, takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. Now, I know a lot of people are really speculating whether or not they're going to get these checks or not, but it has been confirmed that Congress is working on this dividend check, or what many people are calling stimulus. Here's what you need to know, okay? And I'm going to show you where you can get more information on this. You can hear from James Fishback himself, but I went through the video of his interview and I took some notes, but also I got a lot of insight from friends of mine that are working for members of Congress. So this is actually pretty big, okay? Now, I want to show you this really quick, okay? Steve Ram, you may have seen some of his videos. Great guy, has a lot of good videos. Does a video every single day. Highly respect what he does. He had an interview with James Fishback just the other day. And you can go and watch it. Go to Steve Ram's channel and you can go and check it out there. Or just watch this video and I'll explain exactly what he says. But here's what you need to know. I took a lot of notes. So according to James Fishback, members of Congress, both Democrats and Republicans, are considering adding the Doge stimulus refund as a line item to the upcoming reconciliation bill, which they are working on right now. With that said, this whole plan is for 20% of whatever Doge saves. 20% is supposed to go back to the American people. Okay? As of right now, and I want to show you this, this is what the American people would get right now, and this is all taxpayers. Look at this. There's an estimated $115 billion in savings, which means if we take 20% of that, that goes to 161 million individuals. That is a $715 refund check. $714.29, but pretty close. Now, how many people could benefit from $715? Keep in mind, that's per taxpayer. Is it you and your spouse? $715. That looks like a $1,430 check right there. Yeah. How many households could benefit from $1,400? Yeah, a lot of people. Okay, an enormous amount of people. Now, here's what you need to know. The plan has always been, let's take 20% of whatever Doge is able to save and pay that back to the American taxpayers. But recently, estimates are showing that Doge is going to come up to $2 trillion, but it's not going to happen in 2025. Okay? If Doge is successful, and I think they will be, they're probably going to come up to that $2 trillion mark sometime in 2027. Not 2025, not 2026, 2027. And so we are a little ways away. Now, I have a bunch of friends that work for members of Congress, okay? And here's what they're telling me. The plan is to get this Doge dividend repayment plan in the reconciliation bill. This does not mean they're sending out a check as soon as this goes through, but what they're doing is they're putting the pieces in place first. So when Doge hits these certain thresholds or goals, that is when it would actually kickstart the repayment process. Okay, listen to this. Republicans aren't opposed to setting this up as a standalone bill, but they understand it would be more likely to get through if it's through the reconciliation bill, which they're working on now. So that's their first attempt. The next attempt would be a standalone bill, but that probably won't come for several months. Okay? Here's what they're saying. The goal for Congress as of right now, and again, this wasn't discussed in Steve Ram's video with James Fishback. This is actually coming from staffers of members of Congress. But here's what they're saying. Have the plan pass first. Okay? So now this is a piece of legislation. Okay? This is law. Then Doge would have to hit certain levels of success. So like $2 trillion in savings. If they hit $2 trillion in savings, maybe that triggers the initial payout. Okay? So that would be one way. The other way is, let's say Doge can't get to the $2 trillion mark by the beginning of 2027, which would trigger that payment. Or really, it's actually for 2026. It's for next summer. But if they can't reach that $2 trillion mark, maybe it's just an amount of like $500 billion. Okay? So $500 billion, that would be what the target would be. And then if they achieve that, you would get one payment that year. Okay? It wouldn't be every $500 billion is a stimulus payment, stimulus payment, stimulus payment. Okay? So that's what they're discussing right now. But the reason for this is because they want to encourage Doge to continue searching for waste, fraud, and abuse, but also, according to one of my friends, is to entice the American people to report waste, fraud, and abuse. Just from, since I have talked about this over the past few weeks, people have actually sent me different stories about how they've seen the fraud that is running rampant across the United States. And a lot of it's taxpayer dollars. Some of it's from school funding. That is a huge one. Now, I'm not going to go and talk about these for liability reasons. But some of the stories that I have received over the past several weeks, shocking. The amount of money, the wasted spending just in education alone is crazy. So they say this would entice the American people to report waste, fraud, and abuse as well. But at the same time, it doesn't put the United States government under pressure to make these Doge dividend payments until Doge reaches a level of success that they are content with. So again, big thing there. But my friends did confirm that yes, the Doge dividend check would go out to seniors. It would also go out to people or for veterans as well. And the reason for that is because lawmakers have been discussing this for a handful of months or a handful of weeks, and they've been saying that we could give the money back to only those that are the net taxpayers. But the problem is, for the amount of money that's being spent, especially over the past, let's say 2 decades, 20 years, the people that are paying into taxes now are likely the ones that or that aren't paying taxes now. Those veterans, people on Social Security, those on fixed incomes. Those are people that were paying taxes for the past 10, 20, 30, 40 years. So they too should be eligible for this payment. Okay? Veterans, they say, if you fought for this country, you should be eligible no matter what. Okay? Whether you are working or you're not. Also, according to James Fishback, says the legislation that his team has drafted, again, it's going to include seniors and veterans, but it's still something that is fluid. They're discussing this. In his proposal initially, it said anybody that made more than $40,000, but that was just a kind of him going over what the net taxpayer actually looked like. They usually make more than $40,000. Lawmakers say this is not a brand new problem, so anybody that's paid taxes at any point in their life should get part of this refund. The problem is, how do you go about doing that? The kind of the logistics behind it could be very difficult, could be very murky. So is this something that maybe it's not a stimulus check, but it's more of a stimulus refund that you get at the end of the year when you file your taxes? Potentially. Okay, so that's also up for discussion. They're also saying that the true goal of the Doge dividend actually has two parts. The first part is to give the refund back to net taxpayers who were overpaying for years. If you paid into the system, okay, you helped build a school, pave the roads, right? Help repaint the White House or whatever. If you were part of that, then you should get some of the money. The second goal of the Doge dividend, and this is actually a big one. This is where President Trump is more kind of discussing, like, yes, he really wants to do this, but at the same time, he doesn't want to send out the check immediately, because if you send the check out immediately, it actually does the complete opposite of what he wants. What President Trump wants is he wants to incentivize the American people to go and get a job before the checks go out in the summer of 2026. So what they're saying is, okay, if we can send this out in, let's say, 2026, that means people have all the way from today, which is March 13th, 2025, until the summer of 2026. Okay, so you got what? 15 months. You got roughly 15 months to get a job, show that you're working, prove that you're working, get a W-2, and then you will be eligible for this Doge dividend. As of right now, again, I'll show you this again. As of right now, per taxpayer, you'd receive a $715 Doge dividend refund. That's if all 161 million people are eligible. But if they cut it down, it's only half. That means every single taxpayer would receive about $1,400. Yeah, that's a pretty big incentive to go get a job if you're currently not working, or a big incentive to report abuse, waste, and fraud in any government agency. So we'll see what happens moving forward. Again, if you want to go and listen to the exact interview, this is a podcast from Steve Ram. The title of the video is Confirmed: Trump's Stimulus Refund Checks for Social Security. That is a video he did just yesterday. Again, go check it out if you want to listen to James Fishback himself and exactly what he has to say. But that is what we know. Yes, Social Security recipients and veterans will be getting this check, according to James Fishback and his team, if the bill that the proposal that they're putting in front of Congress is what actually goes through. But as we know, whenever Congress gets anything, they make adjustments, they change some of the verbiage, right? Change some of the figures, the eligibilities, and everything will change from there. So as we get more information on this, I promise I'll bring you all the latest news and updates, but that's what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.